Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Games and Things. If you're going to have a home, and most of us would like to have a home, shouldn't you make your home as fun as possible? At Games and Things, they have tables for you. They have dart boards, stand-up classic arcade games, big table games like billiards, ping pong, air hockey, foosball, Games and Things, because life should be fun. And, buddy, they are. You can check them out at their showroom in West Knoxville, or you can visit them online, ourgameroom.com. All right, we are back on the Sports Source set with Will Overstreet, Sterling Hinton, Marlon Walls, Daniel Hood, the VFLs, and myself. And we have Chuck Cavaleris, who's waiting over at his area of our set. And what we're going to be doing is I want to know how much the Vols are going to improve this year. So I'm going to throw out some numbers to you. You're going to tell me if that number is going to be higher or lower. And then we'll get the reaction from the peanut gallery over here, either cheering you or throwing lettuce in your direction. So, number one. Last year, let me see if I can do this without a glare. I don't know if we can get on 7. Yeah, there we go. That works. Last year, UT allowed 29.1 points per game. Chuck, will that number be higher or lower in 2022?
Well, let me put my reading glasses on, John, so I can see clearly now. I look at two road games, guys, and that was at Alabama and Florida when the opponents scored a total of 90 points, right? 52-38. Those guys have to come to Neyland Stadium this year, baby.
That's right.
That total will be lower for those two. Your non-conference schedule's a little bit easier. It's going to be lower than 29 points.
Lower than 29.1. Guys agree with that?
I agree.
I agree with it. I think the offense is going to play into it a little bit this year. I think they'll pace themselves a little bit more in certain games, maybe earlier in the year, too, to keep that away.
All right, so expecting better numbers from the defense this year. How about that?
There we go, Chuck.
Let's go to the next one. All right, if we can get there we go. Last year, UT was last in the SEC, allowing 273.2 pass yards per game. Chuck, will that number be higher or lower in 2022?
Well, you see how these glasses make me smarter, don't you?
Right.
I tell you what.
They're orange colored.
You cannot be last in the SEC in any kind of stat like that, can you? I mean, I don't know if it's the pass rush. I don't know if it's better technique on coverage, but you've got to reduce that number. Yes, I think that will be lower, and I think it can be significantly lower.
All right.
Well, that's the challenging one.
Yeah. See, I think it's going to be lower because I think what's going to happen
Because
is
you're Sterling.
well, actually, that too. But I think it's going to be low because what's going to happen, you're not going to have these hundreds of yards accumulated toward the end of the season at the end of the game when it doesn't even matter. It's going to be more thick. Games going to be thicker this year for us. We're going to win them all, but it won't be yards adding to that total when it doesn't matter later in the game.
No, you're not going to be behind Alabama and they're just piling up the yards late. Is that what you're getting at?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
I'm going higher on that one. I think it's going to be a little more. I think Tennessee's offense will produce a little more earlier, which will cause opposing teams to have to throw the ball more.
Okay. Well, there you go. Different way of looking at it. Good. Nobody reacted to that, but that's a good point. He was very good last year. All right. Here we go. Let me give you another one. Get it out. Last year, Chuck, UT scored 34.8 points per game against SEC foes. That was third best in the league. Will that number be higher or lower in 2022? As Marlon pointed out, everybody has a year on tape now.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I think this one may be close just on either side of that, but I think it may be just slightly under that. And one reason is, can Hendon Hooker stay healthy for the whole season? John, you talked about it with as many times as he was running the ball. We can talk about the new receivers in the mix. There's several factors there, but I'm going to go just slightly under that.
I agree.
Slightly under 34.8 in SEC games?
I'm going above.
I'm going above big time.
I think we got one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC, and I'm going to put my hat on that guy.
And I think we got a year in a system that we had a learning curve to learn.
I think you better. I think you better to meet the expectations of even third in the SEC. I think you have to.
So we're saying Hooker's a Heisman talk should ought to be.
I got my
Higher.
money.
Okay.
I already put my money in Vegas on that one.
We got one more. We're going to speed this one up. I'm going to jump ahead on you, Chuck, so I don't mean to throw you, but here's the one we're going to do. This one's key. Last year, Tennessee allowed 42.1% conversions on third down. Chuck, will that number be higher or lower?
It better be. I mean, you got to get
Better be lower.
Yes, that has to be lower. It goes hand in hand with the passing yards you allow, right, guys? You can't allow that 42% number and expect to really contend in the SEC.
And if Byron Young's going to live up to all SEC performance, that's where you got to come out and be able to stop and get the people off the field.
Lower.
Going lower.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay with it. I stay with it.
All right, so
with it. I
you
agree
guys
with
are
that.
feeling better about the defense?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
areas.
Absolutely.
Second year and how many snaps those
absolutely
guys have
feeling
been
good about
playing. I mean, with how many snaps we forced our defensive line to play, they can't help but get better.
A lot of it's going to come down to injuries, as you said. Though.
Yes.
All right, very good. Chuck Cavaleris, thank you. Look forward to having the Cavaleris line during football season all year long, so thank you for that. We got to catch a break. When we come back, video of how this set was built and a retrospective of our first 19 years on the air. Come on back.